Are you a football fan? Have you ever found yourself wondering, what in the world was that ref thinking? Well, Mike D, the referee, is here to help you. Join me on Whistle Talk as I talk to professionals on the field and in the booth to help you understand what is going on inside the mind of a football official. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Whistle Talk. I'm Mike D, the referee, coming to you here again on the Monday night before Thanksgiving. You'll be hearing this the Wednesday night before Thanksgiving. We'll be publishing this, or the Wednesday morning, I should say, right before Thanksgiving. So I want to make sure that I say Happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. Once again, as always, I'd like to ask everybody, if you are listening and you're enjoying the show, please hit those like and subscribe buttons. Give me those thumbs up. Give me those positive ratings. And if you got anything negative, please shoot me an email, MikeDTheReferee@gmail.com. I got thick skin. I'm a referee. I throw those stripes on Friday and Saturdays. And I'm hearing it regardless. So if you got anything you'd like to add to the conversation, please feel free to reach out to me. But really like those likes and those positive subscriptions, and gets that algorithm thing still going that I keep on talking about. So tonight with me, I have a fine young lady from the Pennsylvania Association, the PIAA. Couple of people now I've had from the PIAA. So keeping it on the East Coast here, I've got Miss Sonya Essis. Welcome to the show, Sonya. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you, Mike?
I'm doing fantastic. Well, I just actually wrapped up my season this past week. So I'm in a little bit of a downtime right now. So looking forward to the off season. How about yourself?
Oh, me too. We still have some state games this weekend, and then we're going to have the championships the first weekend of December here in the States. So hopefully I'll be involved there, whether it's the clock or it's chain crew, and you never know if you get the call, right? So
yeah, I'm still keeping my fingers crossed. We've got another night or so until we definitively find out if we get one or not. But we've kind of been told that we're getting skipped over this year, being we had one in the previous years. They like to rotate it around, which is fair. It's an awesome honor. Wish I could do it each year, but completely understand it.
Oh yeah.
So, Sonya, tell the listeners out there a little bit about yourself. And for those from the PIAA area, I just saw on Facebook an awesome article that they just did highlighting Sonya too. So I'm going to let her brag about herself a little bit. So tell the listeners a little bit about yourself.
Well, there's not much to brag about. I'd like to think that I earned my spot a lot. So bragging about earning something, because you just want to keep getting better as well. So, but anyway, I'm a 7-year high school football official, and I am a back judge in high school football. I also do some D3 football with the Centennial Landmark Conference. I am an umpire in the offensive backfield there. And
Nice.
I also do flag football, all different types of flag football, and any position really, but I do white hat flag football, which I'm pretty proud of earning that spot. So that's my football career. Other than that, I work for a financial advisor, and I sit behind a computer and take care of people's money. So
there you go.
Do my regular time.
I may have to give you a call on the side. So
Perfect.
But so as an umpire and as a back judge, you're seeing a whole lot of different perspectives going on, especially with the umpire in the offensive backfield. You're getting to see it from both sides, which is fantastic. So you get to absorb a whole lot from that scenario. Have you ever worked the sidelines?
I did early in my career. I was a line judge, and all the sub-varsity games that I do, I'm usually a head linesman or a line judge or a down judge.
Very nice.
Head linesman. I'm sorry, take them back. Down judge.
Understandable. Excuse me. So, flag football. One of the main reasons why I kind of reached out to Sonya, because I know that she's heavily involved in flag football, and here in New Jersey we are seeing a major uptick in flag football in the spring season for flag football, for the young ladies that are out there of getting involved. I had the honor of working one of the games, and I was just saying to Sonya before we hit record that I was a little overwhelmed like, when I first got out there. The speed of the game and the intensity that was going on, it was football. It was awesome. So, Sonia, can you tell us a little bit about what you guys got going on in PA with flag football?
Right now, the PIAA sanctioned girls flag football for high school, and that will start
Okay.
in the 2025 season. There are over 65 schools that are registered to have teams this year so far. So I just looked that up on
Okay.
the site today, so that's pretty good. But out of all the schools, I can't believe it's only 65 so far. So hopefully it'll pick up some big momentum here soon. But
Now that's throughout the whole state of Pennsylvania, 65?
yes, yep.
Okay. I don't know the numbers that we have here in New Jersey, but I would say we're probably close to that. We may actually even have more, but we are in the final works, and I could be completely wrong in saying this, of it becoming sanctioned by the NJSOAA.
Mhm.
Um, we are assigned to it as officials, but the first year it was kind of a club sport.
Yes.
So a lot of the girls were playing a spring sport while also then doing flag football. But I think they're trying to get it into a true varsity sport within the next year or so. I know that the talks are in. I just don't know the time frame, to be honest with you, off the top of my head. But it's pretty good stuff going on. And now we're going to see flag football in the Olympics too. Am I correct in saying that?
2028. 2028. Yeah, I can't wait for it. So I mean, that's the next goal, is to be considered to possibly officiate those games. So that's what I have
That
to
would be awesome.
go to work. I'm gonna try to earn that spot. So, but there are officials all across the country that officiate flag football and have been doing it many years before I was even involved.
Hmm.
So I mean, those folks that get that's going to be a great opportunity, and just something to, it's going to be really special. So
So now, for the listeners that aren't familiar with it, we got people from all around the country that might not know that it's going to be a sanctioned sport. What are some of the, you being on a varsity on the high school field, and seeing the way that the boys are playing full pads and everything like that? What are probably your biggest differences that you're seeing overall in the game?
okay, so flag football and tackle football are two different sports. That's how I look at it.
Yep.
So, and tackle football, regardless if females are doing tackle football, because I've done the women's tackle football league, the like the semi-pro league, that is
Yep.
still completely different than flag football. Flag football is more of a finesse when it's played, um, zero contact. You're either playing the ball or the flag, and there's no body contact. And there are different rules that go along with it. In some aspects, there's a right of place or right of way.
Okay.
You have a rusher who is 7 yards back, and they have a lane. You cannot disrupt their lane, or it's impeding the rusher. So it is very different than tackle football.
So with the impeding the lane, that basically is any type of blocking. Are you seeing blocking downfield? Is there any type of blocking? What about
No blocking.
run plays?
No block. There are some formats that allow contact. I've never officiated
Okay.
a contact game in my life. So there are adult leagues that do contact.
Hmm.
So I can't speak on that being legal, but all the formats that I do, there's no blocking. So, but impeding the rusher. So the rusher is lined up in their lane. They have a direct lane to the quarterback. So an offensive player runs through their lane, and that rusher has to divert off of their lane to get to the
Okay.
quarterback. that would be impeding the rusher. And that's probably the call that is the penalty that is mostly called in games, is impeding the rusher.
So not holding.
No, not holding at all. But it does happen.
Because
holding does.
That was actually the one call that I had, and it wasn't the traditional holding. It was actually the girl was holding on to the other girl's uniform while trying to reach and grab the flag. So she was restricting the runner while not actually grabbing the flag. So I think we called the holding penalty on that. So,
and I would have looked at you and said, "Great call."
Well, thank you. Because I looked across the field and I'm like, did I have that one right? Okay, good. So now when we're talking no blocking, what about, I think non-contact sport, which is a term that I don't truly believe with any sports, there's always going to be some type of contact. But what about like the traditional basketball screen? Can you set a pick for a runner when they have the ball, or is that frowned upon too?
No, because you can't make contact. So, I mean, there's no contact. You just have an illegal contact at that point. So, yeah. Yep. You really made me think about that.
Yep. But no, that gives the credence to it being a truly finesse game. And I enjoy that. I've got a daughter who's very involved in sports. She plays on a girls lacrosse team. She's a high school player. She plays on a girls lacrosse team. And the difference between the men's lacrosse and the female lacrosse is the finesse aspect of it. It's a much more beautiful game to watch when it's played correctly. It's just the movements, the flows, the actions, the different things like that, where a lot of times with the boys' game of lacrosse, which my son played for a number of years too before he transitioned to baseball, it's sometimes a little bit more violent. There's a lot of hitting and whacking, and I mean, some kids are going to lay the boom on some other people, which the high school level is okay, but on the female level, it's not. So it definitely makes it for a more finesse type of game. So you got your rusher. How much time does the quarterback have back there? Because I'm thinking 7-on-7, and that's where as an old school coach, that's what I always kind of revert back to when I think of flag football. And I know that it's incorrect, but I'm thinking of 7-on-7 type rules where I have a count and got to get the ball out in 3 seconds or 4 seconds, whatever the count may be. How is it working for the girls' flag football game?
Right now, they have 7 seconds. So as soon as the ball hits the quarterback's hands, they have 7 seconds to release the ball. And if they hand it up, the 7 seconds goes away, or if they pitch it backwards, it goes away as well. So they do have 7 seconds to get the ball away.
Now, I know before we hit record, you had showed me all your different manuals that you have there between NFL flag and all the different things. Are the rules pretty much straightforward across the board with them when it comes to, say, the 7 seconds for the quarterback, or is there deviations that are possible?
So far, the youth flag football that I've done, the 7 seconds has been pretty straightforward. We did a tournament once where it was an adult tournament. They had 4-second pass clock. Only 4 seconds. And then I also did a tournament. Normally girls, the youth that I do, or boys, for youth, it's 7 seconds. Even if the rusher passes the line of scrimmage, they still only have 7 seconds to get the pass off. And some adult leagues.
Oh, really?
Yes. Some adult leagues, it's 7 seconds. And as soon as the rusher passes the line of scrimmage, that goes away as well. So if there's no rush, they only have 7 seconds. Basically, yep.
And that's when you'll start getting a little bit more of the prevent type defenses, and not sending the rusher and working more on coverage.
Yeah. Yep.
So now, the one game that I worked, we split the field in half, so we actually had 2 games going on. It was basically the 40 going in. Is it the same across the board with the NFL flag and different things like that, or are they playing the full 100 yards?
No. They play a full 100 yards. I think it's is it 40 yards, and then they have the end zones. I believe that's what it is.
That was what I'm pretty sure that's what we did. Either the 35 or the 40. Again, I apologize. I only worked the one.
And it's not as wide.
Now, okay, so we did do it on the varsity game field, so the width was the same
Oh, were you doing
with it.
5 or 7?
It was 7.
Then you would be the full width. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, so all right, so you have a 5-person game and a 7-person game.
Yep. hmm Yep. And some contact
All right.
goes 8-man, or you could have a 9-man as well. So, yep. There's so many formats out there. It's crazy.
Now I'm hoping if this becomes truly something that the NFHS puts their stamp on, which I know that they're talking about, are they going to have just one set of rules, or and I'm asking this theoretically. I don't know if you would know this, but I know the NFHS book has the 9-person game for the varsity game, and some states have 7-player games, I think, or maybe even 5-player games. I don't even know with some of the different areas. Are they going to try to govern one ideal scenario? Do you know?
I think, I'm not sure, but I'm hoping they're leaning towards 7, especially because we can get more girls out on the field. And also, that's what collegiate flag football is using is 7. So then they'd just be going right into that too. And they would already sort of know the rules as well, especially the same field size, 7-player. And also in May of 2025 is when they're supposed to be getting the rule book out for NFHS. The committee is supposed to start to meet in January to finalize those rules, I believe.
Perfect. So let's backtrack a little bit. You brought something up there that I don't think I even have on my notes here. Collegiate game.
Mm-hmm.
How big is it becoming now in college with girls 7-on-7 girls flag football, I should say?
I just did a flag football life tournament this weekend, and we had girls there that were getting looked at for college. So
scholarships.
Yes, they were there, and the folks were there to watch them in that flag football tournament.
That's fantastic.
Just yesterday.
So
yep.
That's awesome. And I did hear that before, that people are getting scholarships for some of the colleges. I think down in Florida, I think was the first one that I had heard. I don't know what university it was, but so everybody out there does know. I mean, this is for real, and it's here to stay too. So when you got the colleges giving out money and giving out educations for it, that's a great sign for the growth of the sport. So
the NCAA this past season, it was sort of a rec sport this season, but next year it is going to be I think it's the Eastern Atlantic Conference. The NCAA put a stamp of approval on it. I know Newman College or Newman University is one of the schools that's in the conference, so they put their stamp of approval on it. So it's coming to our area. So excited about that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And it's just more opportunities for people to get involved in the sport.
Mm-hmm.
Which actually, here I go on one of my tangents here. Getting people involved in our sport. I just talked about and mentioned the article that I saw. 19 female officials in the state of Pennsylvania, huh?
Yes. 19 out of 2,176 football officials registered. There's only 19 females in the entire state. Yep.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. We need to do it. We need to do a better job of getting people involved. People, males, females, who cares? Like, good people. We need to get officials out on the field. Ladies and gentlemen that are out there listening, tell your friends, tell your kids, tell your kids to tell their kids. It's something that we can do to keep our game going, to stay involved in the game. And it doesn't matter who you are. If you're a good person and you're willing to learn the rules and put in the work, get out there, have some fun with it. It's an awesome experience. Please pass the word on. Get everybody out there. My daughter just actually played in a quote unquote powder puff game in high school last week, and she loved it. She always busted my chops because she's a lacrosse player and field hockey player. She's like, "Dad, what is this sport? I'm not into football." Well, she came home and she was trying to have a football conversation with me. Now, she was very limited in her knowledge because she never wanted to listen to me before, but she was excited when she was playing it. So hopefully it'll keep growing for her with her love of the sport and sports in general. But man, we could really use good officials who cares about gender. So let's go, people. Get everybody involved. All right. So sorry about my little diatribe there and tangent. So let's talk about some of the other rules when it comes to the flag football game. Fumbles, turnovers, interceptions, different things like that. How are they being typically ran? Can an interception be returned? Can a fumble be scooped and scored? Different things like that.
Right now, fumbles cannot be scooped and scored because that would.
Okay.
I'm not sure why, but my theory on that is because it would just avoid the unnecessary contact and loss of possession. So as soon as you lose possession, it's lost right where you are at that spot. So,
Okay. Does the team lose possession and the other team gains possession, or is it just it's like a dead ball at that point in time?
Yep, dead ball. Yep. Interceptions can be returned, and
Okay.
so we have that as well. That's very exciting. And what was the other one you asked? Fumbles, interceptions.
Yeah, just the scoop and scores and different things like that, because I could definitely see why they would want the scoop and scores or the fumble returns to not be in there because yeah, I see how everybody dives upon the pile to try to get that loose ball and that scrum that goes on there. So if you're having no contact,
Yep.
that would be where the contact would happen. So, and we all know that who the hell knows what's going on at the bottom of that pile. I've unfortunately been at the bottom of those piles before as a former player. So I'm not going to divulge what actually I didn't do anything. I can promise you that.
Well,
So,
working in the middle of the field and having to dig in the middle of that pile, I hear what they tell me happens in the bottom of that.
oh yeah, and a lot of the times they're not lying. A lot of times they are. They're looking for sympathy, but there's some stuff that happens under there that if you're on the street somewhere, it could be illegal. But yeah,
Absolutely.
it's quite interesting. So now, how does the scoring go? How many points is a touchdown? Do you do extra points, or
Oh
is there a kicking
yeah.
game?
In high school football, they will be doing a kicking game.
Okay,
They do kick in college as well. Yep, some formats of college they do kick, and but in the typical flag football that we've been doing, the youth flag and a lot of the adult, there's no kicking, there's no kickoff.
okay,
Yeah, you do the coin flip. You just do offense, defense. You know which side you want to start on, that type of thing. But scoring is generally the same. It's
okay,
6 points for a touchdown. But you can also pick. You can go for one or you can go for two. One from the 5 yard is you can only you must pass.
okay.
So, yep, you can't run the ball. And for 2 points is 10 yards. You have the option. You can run or pass at that point. So yep.
I like that. I actually really do like that rule. And I got to work an All-Star game a couple weeks ago, a couple of years ago. I got to work an All-Star game. They had a 3-point play from the 20.
Oh,
So it was they were trying out some different rules. They were kind of piggybacking off of the XFL, USFL at the time, their different rules. So they were kind of mixing and matching things, but they were trying to encourage, especially if a team was losing by 3, to give them an opportunity because they were trying to take away the onside kick scenario. So they were giving them different options with scoring and different things like that.
oh, that's kind of
So
cool.
now I was joking around before, and you were talking about the rush lane and stuff like that. What other penalties are you seeing in the flag game? You're
Uh,
not getting any face masks.
no, you have your illegal contact. You have DPI. You have OPI.
Okay.
Same, and it's the same basic uh, principle of those penalties in tackle football that are brought over.
Okay.
Um, uh, uh,
Now I got to ask from a phys ed teacher standpoint, flag guarding.
oh yeah, flag guarding is huge. Flag
Yeah.
guard is covering your flag. If you dip, but you're dipping too far and your elbow goes down, if you're running and you do that, those choppy hands that are too low,
Yep.
that could be construed as flag guarding, and now we have the dip move, which is the most impressive move I've ever seen in my life. They dip real low, their knees are bent, and they're moving. It can be construed as flag guarding, but it absolutely is not. As long as their hands are up and they got the ball and they're dipping real low, they can avoid everything.
Wow.
Those are the pristine athletes that can do that. Like my knees, nope, never.
Yeah, I feel your pain on that one. That's definitely something. So you're talking about all the flag guarding and different things like that. I mentioned before the holding. What about a player trying to force a fumble? Or is that something that is allowed, or are you allowed to try to strip the ball out?
Stripping, nope, that's a penalty. It's a spot foul,
Okay.
and it's a 5 yards, and will be an automatic first down.
Okay, because you're initiating contact by trying to strip the ball out,
Yep,
I'm
yep,
assuming.
there's no stripping.
All right. Um, here's one that I love because you get it I get it at the JV and freshman levels, the games that I work, but the delay game penalties. You got some coaches that are just completely trying to milk the clock when it comes to different things. And the one game that I work, the coach was in the huddle with play cards because again, it wasn't truly a sanctioned. It was still kind of a scrimmage. So we were in there with play cards and like, coach, we got a 20-minute running clock here. So let's get it going. Are you seeing delay game type penalties, things like that?
Delay a game is tough in flag football because where we're doing this, we verbally will yell 10. We count
Okay.
down till it's done. So, I mean, they know. So, and they have a 25-second play clock, and
Okay.
we will count down from 10 the whole way down. So, I mean, if they're going to get a delay a game, they're going to do
They're
it
earning it.
for some reason. But they should never have a delay a game because we're telling them every time. So
you're losing your voice pretty much every game.
yes, you're lucky I can speak today. Yeah, because our 7-second pass clock, we yell that too. I mean, it is like, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then
Yep.
you right before that I'm yelling 10 seconds down, and then I'm doing that, and then I'm yelling the time on the clock, and all of that good stuff. But it's great.
So I know a unique one that I remember one of my cohorts calling, and that was jumping. There was a penalty for jumping. Can you explain that?
Yes. Okay. So it's basically jumping is basically flag guarding.
Okay.
Yeah, and also it's it's safety as well.
I could definitely see the safety, just like the hurdling penalty with the NFHS rules. But the flag guarding one, I'm not going to lie, I'm a little confused by that one because if you can do that dip that you're talking about, that they're sinking their hips, why can't they elevate their hips slightly?
I'm not 100% sure about that, but
okay.
they did. NFL flag it was out, then it was in for a bit, and now it's back out again. So jumping is no longer in their rules.
No longer a penalty?
It is a penalty. It is a penalty.
Oh, it is a penalty.
Yeah. Yep. Like
okay, so
this year they can't.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah, that one. I'm not gonna lie. I don't understand that one a little bit. The safety factor, yes, I will give you that. But like I said, if you're able to drop your hips, you should be able to elevate your hips just to give them a different plane instead of always trying to grab at the same spot. So.
And it isn't a penalty. It's just that basically it's like they lost possession, and it's at the spot where they do it. So like if they're diving into the end zone, it's where they left their feet. So down in town, it would just come back to that spot.
See, now I wasn't equating in my mind jumping as diving, but that does make a lot more sense because you have to jump in order to propel yourself forward. So I could see that one. I was thinking more of just kind of almost like a hurdle in the air, just kind of like I said, changing your hip level, just trying to get up to avoid the flag. In that essence.
Yeah.
So here's a couple numbers that I'm going to throw at you. Doing some research before you and I got on here. The growth in girls' participation has increased by 105%. And I'm looking at my other screen from 2022 to 2022, 23 to 23, 24. That's amazing.
And
That's just
unbelievable. Unbelievable.
and I mean, I know it's early and we haven't gotten there yet, but any idea of where the numbers are projecting this year? Has anybody mentioned anything, or have you seen anything with that?
Nope, no numbers yet. No numbers yet, but once I find out, I'll let you know.
Yeah, please do, because I mean, that's just, and again, for the fact that you're working tournaments and there are college coaches standing on the sidelines that are recruiting, those numbers are just going to continue to go up and up and up.
Oh, yeah.
So now, 2028, a little bit in the future, we mentioned it before, going to be in the LA Olympic Games. Is that going to be males and females? Because I know there were talk about some NFL players trying to jump in with the flag football games.
Yes.
Is it going to be both males and females?
I have a male team and a female team. Yep.
That's going to be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait for that. And I hope they have their set rules all ready to rock and roll with that, because that's definitely going to be a lot of fun on all aspects. Any talk about any semi-pro leagues or anything like that leading up to it? Do you know?
I really haven't heard, but we do have athletes that there's a group called USA Flag. They do tournaments all over the United States, and their big world championships are coming up in January. And those athletes that are actually on the U.S. team participate in a lot of those tournaments, and a lot of them will be at this tournament in Tampa. So,
I say if it's January, I'm hoping it's a warm weather place.
I hope Tampa's warm then. So, but yeah, so they're always working out with other teams. They're on the U.S. team right now. So I guess that's where you could see that it's sort of like working into like a semi-pro type of league.
Okay.
But there are leagues all over the United States. So, but.
All right. So now I got to ask you a personal preference. Boys contact or girls flag?
Two different sports.
Great answer.
Two different sports. Yep. That's my fall is tackle and the rest of the year is flag football. So. Yeah.
So you're not getting a break at all during the season. Your football pretty much 365 days a year, huh?
It is all the time. You could work flag football tournaments every weekend all over the United States. There's something that you could be doing all the time. So, but during tackle season, my passion is tackle football. I love the challenge of the rules for tackle football. You'll never know every rule, and I love that. I love the challenge. But flag football, it is just such an incredible sport. And there's so many people that can get involved. I mean, you can have your 6-year-old involved, and you can be 70 years old and still play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's so diverse. Like, and I love it. And I love the people who play it. And I think flag football will just take me places as well. If I keep working hard and keep getting better, it'll just take me places. So, I mean,
now I know in my town here where I am in New Jersey, we have both for the youth levels. We have both AYF, which is the tackle football, but we also do have a flag football season that goes on also at the same time, and that's actually co-ed. And then come the spring, they do it again. Well, they'll have a co-ed flag football teams that are playing, and it's in kind of an in-house rec league. So it's just getting players involved in the sport, where some people may be a little bit intimidated of the tackle game. And so this is getting them at least the exposure to it and then letting it grow. But I know we don't right now in my area have anything that is just strictly a girls league just yet. But I know with the high schools, there are a number of the high schools, like I said, in the area that are just doing the girls stuff come the springtime. So I know there's a couple of spring coaches that are out there that are kind of not really looking forward to this movement because it's going to be stealing from the softball and the lacrosse players and the track and field athletes that are out there that are they're going to want to get involved. Um,
Well,
do you know what? Go
one of
ahead.
the things about that is the teams are so small. It's not like I have
Hmm.
70 kids on my roster for a tackle football program. You can have maximum sometimes 12, sometimes 15 players. That's it. So out of all
Okay.
the girls in your high school, you're only getting 15 girls that can be on that team or whatever the number is going to be. So it's not like you can have rostered 70 kids. There is a very limit to it.
So you definitely have more exposure to it than I do, which is why I may sound ignorant with some of the questions that I'm asking. But do you know if the NFHS is going to look to when they make it a true varsity sport? Is it going to be I'm trying to think of the right word. Is it something that they have to select as their spring season sport? Because I know right now, like I mentioned before, the way that it was run here in New Jersey is there were girls that were involved that were, say, lacrosse players, where in New Jersey lacrosse is a spring sport, so they were on the lacrosse team, and then they would have evening flag football practices, and then they would have their games would be scheduled around when their lacrosse games were or when their track and field meets were. So they were basically playing on a varsity team with one sport and then playing on this club team in essence for flag football. Do you know how the NFHS is looking to do that? Are they looking to make it just solely a varsity sport or?
uh, for NFHS, I think they're just the rule base, though. I think it's going to be by state how they sanction it. Then, like the PIAA
Okay.
would be the one to say whether or not they could be like a two sport athlete in the same
Yeah.
season. So, and I'm not sure how that's going to work.
So now I know here in New Jersey, they did away with that years ago. It may have come back into play, but the two sport in one season athlete, they stopped allowing that because we used to have um, football players that also ran cross country, and so the days of being a 4 year 4 sport letter person kind of went on the wayside. So now it's just 4 years 3 sports because you got the winter season, your fall season, your spring season
Yeah.
here in New Jersey. So yeah, I'm interested to see which way that goes.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So you being a high school referee for the tackle game, you being on the sidelines, being now in the backfield, also wearing a white hat. I'm sure you've heard a number of different things and probably seen a number of different coaching styles that are out there. So let's kind of turn the tables here with the flag football. What are you noticing from the coaches? First of all, do they know the rules? Because that's always a difficult thing, even for the tackle game.
For flag football, the coaches
Yeah.
I have met, they know the rules.
Okay.
They're on top of it, and they will use every rule to their advantage. And they will push the limits of every rule to their advantage, which is great. That's great coaching. I mean, if you're not trying to do that and you're just cookie cutter, I mean, you're not giving justice to your team. So
Absolutely. You got to put the players in the best positions.
yeah, it's just like getting that coach who you throw a flag or a penalty and they're sort of yelling at the situation. They're not necessarily yelling at you. They're not making it personal, but they are making a big deal about it. That's
Yeah.
the benefit of their players. That's nothing against me. And then later on, they come back and they're like, hey, that was a great call. I just wanted to let you know. Well,
You
thanks.
could say that. You could say that part louder too, so that everybody knows that I did it.
Yeah,
Let's not keep that one a secret.
but the coaches right now in a lot of the tournaments, they really know. We had just yesterday there was a team that was their very first tournament. They've only practiced for like 2 months before this is their first tournament they were ever coming to. And he
Okay.
at the coin toss told me He said, I'm brand new. This is our first time here. So I moved the line judge over to his side because he was a veteran flag football official, and put him over there so he could answer his questions. So, and he was right there in his ear, answered his questions every time. So we didn't have a hard time with the being new and the disconnect of the rules and actually seeing them enforced on the field. So,
Okay.
and it was great and learning experience for them. And it also keeps us fresh when we have folks that are new and don't know the rules a lot.
Now, are you also, with it being a girls' sport or female sport, are you seeing more female coaches, or is it still unfortunately male dominant?
It is male dominant,
Okay.
but there are females though. So yesterday we had two female coaches, two different teams, two female coaches, and
Good.
we do see them. We have a team in York County. It's the only one in our district, District 3 here in Pennsylvania, that actually has a girls flag football team that's registered with the PIAA. And
Okay.
they are solely coached by females.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. So it's another way for getting everybody involved into the sport.
Yeah.
I know in the area that I'm in right now, we actually do have a female varsity assistant coach um, for the tackle game. And I'm actually in touch with. I'm trying to get her on right now. Working on trying to get her. We have a college coach at one of our local Division 3 schools. That's a female coach. So we've been playing a little phone tag as of late, but I'm trying to get her on too because it's definitely a different perspective in the stereotypical male world that we live in when it comes to the game of football right now. So that's why I love seeing and hearing stories like the success that you're having as a female official, one out of 19 out of 2,000 in your state, and previous guests that I've had on, Kat Conti and Kennedy from the Central Jersey chapter. So I love seeing the growth of the sport in all the aspects of it. So I'm hoping that it gets bigger for the coaching aspect too, and people realize, hey, this is another avenue that I can go through to get involved in this sport. And ladies and gentlemen, if I haven't mentioned this before, you could also officiate. Hint, hint, wink, wink. So let's get involved in this sport and let's keep it growing.
Oh, and you talked about in the off season,
yes,
in the spring, they have 7-on-7s for high school football, right?
Yes,
which is great for quarterbacks and their receivers to make that connection, to become friends on the football field. You know what I mean? Like that's a great time to do that. In lower levels of football, they might not have that opportunity in the spring. I think flag football, it can be an advantage for quarterbacks and receivers because you have everybody on the football field can get the ball.
Yes.
Your center who's snapping the ball, it can go out for a pass. So,
Yep.
I mean, if coaches can utilize that to get their quarterbacks and their receivers synced up, I think flag football is a great tool to use. So I would never shy away from not playing it or not having your athletes play it.
Well, and it definitely takes less of a toll on the body than playing tackle, because I know some travel tackle programs in the area where they're playing spring tackle football and then fall tackle football and training in the summertime. And
Mhm.
that takes a wear and tear on a body, especially on a youth body. So giving the skilled people a chance to run around and have no contact and to work their routes and to work the timing and different things like that, that's fantastic. And that's where the finesse part of the game comes into play when you're talking about the skill positions in tackle football.
Mhm.
So yeah, the skill positions still have to have a little brute force when it comes to going across the middle and different things like that. But it's still more of a finesse game than it is being a bull of a running back or an offensive lineman like myself
Yeah.
and just going for it. So that actually it was going to lead me into my next question, the impact that it has on traditional football. Where do you see it going? Where do you see traditional football going with now the rise of flag football? Um, do you think we're going to start losing players to flag football from the tackle football game because of the safety factor? Do you think we're going to see more of that going on for the males, not just the females?
Um, I'm not sure we're going to lose anyone from tackle football, especially moving up in the ranks because of
Hmm.
the issue of money. How much money can you make playing flag football, or how much money can you make playing tackle football?
Hmm.
And until it gets to that level, I don't think we're really going to lose anyone unless
Okay.
injury takes someone out of tackle football and they move into a flag football role, which I think is
Yes.
great potential. And until we get like truly professional flag football league, which could really happen, which would be incredible. Um, I don't think it's going to be an impact at all.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see it in the next 4 or 5 years that professional league. I really don't. I mean, with the way the sport is growing and with those numbers that we said, 105 in 1 year percentage growth.
Hmm.
I mean, it's growing. It's definitely going. So hopefully it continues to keep on building at that level and just get better and better each year.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So my last question, and I'm going to go back to the officiating part of this. 3-person crew or
Uh,
4-person?
it depends. Most of the time
Okay.
it's a 3-person crew, and for high school football, I believe that's what they're looking at to go to a 3-person crew for Pennsylvania. Um,
Okay.
but a 4-person crew, I'll take it any day. It's a little less
Oh,
running, and then a lot more eyes on the field. I mean, like you're just doing a 5-on-5. Um, a 3-person crew is absolutely fine. You go to 7-person, and the field's a little bit bigger.
yeah.
There's a lot going on. Um, 4 would be great, but a 3 is still fine because you still get you still go to zone um,
Okay.
where you're looking. And so, and everybody else on the field needs to pretty much stop unless they're right at the point of attack.
Okay.
So all the other players.
How is it how is it for you as a tackle football official transitioning to the flag game mechanics wise? Because you brought up you're focusing on your zone or your point of focus. Are are you finding some officials having a difficult time transitioning to that and just with the traditional format of football with their mechanics, or is it something that's easily picked up on?
It's not necessarily mechanics that trips them up. It's
Okay.
the contact. So you go from a full tackle season and then you go into flag football and you're used to seeing all that contact. And then all
Yes.
of a sudden you go to a flag football game and you're like, oh, did she just tackle her? And you're like, yeah, I probably should have had a flag on that.
Yep.
But yeah, that's usually it. But mechanically, we're moving a lot. We're backpedaling a lot. Me being in the middle of the field as an umpire in the offensive backfield, um, I'm moving with the offense all the time. So
Yep.
for me, it's not that big of a transition. But um, as an umpire, I'm looking at the offensive line, and
Okay.
as a white hat in flag football, I'm my the first person I'm really looking at is the rusher. So
Okay.
I'm looking at the defense across the line of scrimmage. So my eyes have to transition from being like the line, the quarterback, to the defense. You know, so there is a transition for me, and it does take probably like 2 games to get it really sunk in that I'm doing flag
Yeah.
football. But yeah,
But you're probably not getting many roughing the passer penalties in the flag game, so definitely switching your focus to the defensive side as opposed to the focusing on the quarterback as a white hat is definitely probably a
yeah.
good scenario.
roughing the passer is a huge penalty because you cannot make any contact whatsoever to the quarterback. Yep.
Didn't think of that way.
Yep. So you actually stay on the quarterback a little bit longer, so you don't know what happens with the ball. Is it complete? Is it incomplete? You're not seeing that because you're not moving with the ball. You have to stay with the quarterback for their safety.
See, now that's how I am as a white hat for the tackle game. Is my white hat always jokes around that he misses 90% of the game because he's just watching the quarterback, and it kind of gets a little bit boring at times just focusing on the quarterback. But it's for the safety of the quarterback and administrating the game.
Yep.
So yeah, it's the same scenario.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
So Sonya, we're coming close to our hour mark here. We're at about 50 minutes, so I don't want to hold you up much longer. My last question that I have for you is, how can people get involved? What are some of the ways that people can reach out that may want to get involved in either playing, coaching, officiating, flag football, and stick with your area where your expertise is. How can somebody in Pennsylvania get involved in the flag football season?
Well, if we have NFL flag, we have different groups that use NFL flag as basically their rule set, and they're local. They go from 6U, I believe, all the way. Boys are 14U, and some of the girls are 17U. And there's lots of tournaments all over the place, but you have to travel a lot. Philly, Pittsburgh area, things like that. If they want to play, they can
reach out to their high schools.
To see if they can start to bring on a program within their high school. That would be great. I know that locally here in central Pennsylvania, I would love to have teams here, but we have one. So we're going to see what happens. Hopefully more schools will jump on board here, but I do have folks in Philly. They're just, a lot of the schools there's like 35, I believe, schools in Philly. So, which is fantastic. But
all right. So I guess I lied. I do have one more question with it. Is it your local chapter that's going to assign you to work the different games, or are you going through NFL flag to be assigned the games? How does that work?
For NFL flag?
Just for the high school games, I'm sorry.
Oh,
so is it your local chapter?
It'll probably be our local chapter. Yeah.
Okay.
So right now, I haven't heard any different. I do know the talk was, so the PIAA,
yes.
They sanctioned girls flag football. So it's either they're going to take our tackle football officials that have already paid their registration fee, took their test for tackle football, take those folks and sort of transition them into flag football, or make it completely different, pay your registration fee, take your test for flag football, whole different rule set, that type of thing. I kind of like that because then you'll get the folks that are really serious about it, not just some tackle football official that just happened to get assigned a game. So
that would be this guy right here.
Yeah.
I excuse me. I will fully admit it. I was kind of thrown for throwing a curveball on that one when I got assigned that game. I was like, oh yeah, okay. Because I'm not going to lie, I thought it was going to be easier than what it was. It was definitely, like I said, more competitive and more intense than I was anticipating, which I enjoyed, but it was a little nerve-wracking because I didn't want to mess the game up.
Yeah.
So
good.
I wanted to make sure I did the best that I could.
Yeah, don't mess the game up.
No, heck no. That's always a goal.
Yeah.
No matter what game I'm involved in.
So differently, officiating at high school level is going to be from the PIAA. That's it.
Okay.
So, but if you want to officiate flag football tournaments, anything else, they sort of need to know somebody to sort of get involved. Like, I just got a few of the guys here from tackle football involved in doing flag football life, NFL flag, USA flag. Told them I have these tournaments. I've officiated tackle football with you. Here's the invite if you'd like to do it. I had 10 guys sign up. I thought I'd get 2. I have 10 new flag football officials, which is fantastic. So if anybody's interested, I'd be more than happy to help them get involved. It doesn't matter where they are, and they don't have to officiate tackle football to be a flag football official. Two different things. If you're a mom, you want to make some extra cash and just work a tournament, let me know. I'll absolutely help. I'll do anything to, help anybody get involved with the sport. If you're a dad and that's the only time you have, if you're a college student, you just want to make extra cash, but love the game of football, flag football's the way to go. It's fantastic. And I'll help anybody do it. I will get anybody involved. I'll help anybody do it. I'll help you pass your exam.
Nice. So how would people be able to reach out to you? Do you have social media tags or anything like that you'd like to throw out there?
I have give you my email.
Okay.
It's my name, Sonya Essis, ESSIS @gmail.com. So
all right.
Yep. And
I'm going to throw that on the show notes too. So if anybody is listening out there and you want to reach out to Sonya, right there, Sonya Essis @gmail.com. It'll be right there for you. Reach out to her. Pennsylvania area, surrounding area, reach out to her.
Yep, anywhere, any state, I will help you get involved. Even if you listen to this and you're out of the country and you want to get involved, you let me know. I'm pretty sure I know somebody that can help you out.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I do got some people out in England that are listening to us, and a couple of people out in Europe. So, and I got a dog in the background barking. I don't know if you can hear her going. So well, she wants to get involved too.
Well, those folks, if they need an official, they can call me and I'll travel. So
awesome. Good stuff. Well, Sonya, once again, I appreciate you taking the time to come on and talk about the flag football world and the growth of flag football. Thank you very much. I hope your tackle season does not come to a conclusion in the next couple of weeks. So hopefully you get a couple more games in you. And if not, keep going with the flag football. If there's anything that I can do to help, please always feel free to reach out to me. I'll do whatever I can. Hopefully this gets the word out for other people. Ladies and gentlemen, again, like I always say, get involved in the sport. Get your friends involved in the sport. It's a great way. And this here now is just another avenue for us to continue the rise of the sport of football. It doesn't matter. Tackle football, flag football, two-hand touch football. Get involved in the sport. Get involved in the team nature of it. Get involved on a crew and be a team. It's an awesome way to stay involved in the sport. Sonya, thank you again for taking the time tonight. I hope you have an awesome Thanksgiving and a great holiday season coming up. So thank you, and have a great night.
All righty. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Anytime.
All righty. Thanks.
If you're enjoying today's show and you want to show your appreciation to Mike D, you can buy him a beer by clicking on the link in the show notes or go to buymeacoffee.com/Mike D the referee. And as always, make sure to click follow and give 5 stars. Thanks for listening. Cheers.